And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, a real estate and finance expert, and goes to bat for you every day as your consumer advocate. Your host, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truth centered around real estate, credit, finance, estate planning, publishing, and so much more. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, where our number one goals remain. We want to educate, we want to entertain, we want to enlighten, but most importantly, we want to engage you in an effort to help you win in any marketplace.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Out there, and we don't care if you're climbing that corporate ladder or if you throw a ladder in your truck on the way to work. This show's for you. Let's go around the horn now, make our introductions. Back in studio, Miss Tara Richter, Richter Publishing. Welcome back in, Tara.
Yes, thanks for having me on. Today we're going to talk about getting your book out there for 2017.
Awesome.
I think next year is the year that everyone needs to get their book published.
That's right. Hey, there's so many positives to publishing a book and harnessing the power of the media and being a celebrity in your marketplace. We're going to dive deeper into that. So thanks for coming back in, Tara. And also special guest in studio, Rita Lowman, Pilot Bank. She's the COO, and she's also an author. Welcome in.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here to share a little bit about the book that I've just written, and it was published. We actually released this week. So we'll get into that a little bit as we talk further.
Excellent. Great stuff. So let's go ahead and jump into this great content. Tara Richter, Richter Publishing, back in studio.
Yes.
What's going on?
Oh, lots of great stuff. We got so many people that are getting ready to sign contracts to write and publish their books. I always get busy December and January because I think everyone's kind of contemplating what did I accomplish for this year, 2016, and what do I want to do in 2017. So literally we have like 4 clients, 4 new authors we're going to sign. And then next week, I'm having a Skype session with that lady we talked about before from Denmark.
Nice.
So, yeah, she's going to sign a contract, which I'm so excited to work with her on her book because I'm definitely going to help her do a book launch party in Denmark and hopefully fly over and attend because, I mean, come on, you know.
Captain Will Smith. We got to get you plugged in with Captain.
Who's
too.
that?
He wrote a book as well, and he went over to Europe and did a book signing over there.
Okay.
But he's the one that flies me around, teaching me how to get my pilot license.
Oh,
But
nice.
It just popped in my mind. So
Yeah, absolutely. That will be, I mean, so exciting. Obviously, like, never been to Denmark, have no idea. I mean, you know, where to do a book launch there, but I'm sure we'll figure it out.
Yeah, hey, that's great. You know, that's part of the goal setting process too, right?
Mm-hmm.
You come up with the goal and you work your way backwards.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, with most people, you know, my company, we do the books fairly quickly. So by the time you sign the contract, whether we help you write it, you know, the author writes it, we edit it, we can usually get them out in, you know, anywhere from 2 months to 6 to 8 months.
What did ours take? What did this one take?
I'm trying to think when we started. Was it March or April, I think? No, maybe it was April or May.
It felt like it was pretty quick.
So May, June, July, August, September, October, because yours was published in October. So yours took like 6 months.
Yep.
And that was from the beginning stages of nothing.
Yep.
Like we didn't have anything other than an idea.
Yep.
And then, you know, writing it, editing, doing the cover, getting the proofs out there and getting it published. So, yeah.
It's awesome. A lot of fun. And as a business, as a salesperson, especially, you know, salespeople can definitely help you grow your celebrity. Because, you know, it sets you apart. You know, in short, it sets you apart. You walk into a listing appointment or whatever your situation might be. It's going to really just help you win in any marketplace, as our goal of our show is. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, we specialize in nonfiction business books, self-help, and memoirs, which we have in the studio today, Rita, and her book was just published, From the Farm to the Boardroom, Leadership Lessons. And her book, I just figured it took us 8 months. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I mean, really within less than a year, if you get ready now, you could become a published author, you know, in 2017.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those things, you just set aside daily time. You set aside weekly time. Whatever you can squeeze into your schedule. I know as the chief operating officer for Pilot Bank, you know, it's probably a little bit of a challenge there. but yeah, you can. So that's the goal. Is we want to help you win. We want to give you this Cliff Notes version somewhat of life and how we, you know, successes that we've seen. You know, talk about modeling an expert, modeling people that have done it before. That's what the goal of this show is. We want to educate, entertain, enlighten, and engage. So that's what we're doing for you. We're helping you win. So when we come back, we're going to talk with Rita Lowman, Pilot Bank. She works currently with Pilot Bank, Chief Operating Officer, but she's also an author. And when I saw the cover of the book, it's very cool because it reminds me a lot of my background. Growing up in a small town down in South Florida. So I get it. From the farm to the boardroom. Is that? Yeah. So very interesting content.
Have you always wanted to write a book? Do you have a manuscript that's been rejected time and time again by a traditional publishing house? Then you're in luck. Richter Publishing will make your dreams of becoming a published author a reality. Contact us today for your free 30-minute phone consultation. Go to www.richterpublishing.com. That's RICHTER publishing.com. And click on the Contact Us tab to schedule your session.
We're back here in studio live from iHeart Radio, beautiful South Tampa, Florida. Every Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. It's your most important hour on the radio, as well as syndication on the weekends on 102.5 The Bone on the FM dial. And we have our TV show as well on WeBeam TV as well. You can watch the live stream from consumerqb.com. And reminder, our hotline is 813-917-1894.
Welcome to my house.
All right, so Tara, I'm going to let you introduce our guest in studio today, Rita Lowman, Pilot Bank author. Go ahead.
All right. Well, Rita Lowman, Pilot Bank. You already did the hard work for me. She's one of my amazing authors. Her book just got published December 1st, which we have here, From the Farm to the Boardroom, Leadership Lessons. And, it basically talks about her life. It's her memoir about growing up in a small town in Georgia and then coming to Tampa and basically plowing her way through the banking industry. So it has some really great lessons, some great tips. And, because I was a loan officer, a loan processor, so I know how hard it is being a female in the banking, financing world. It's definitely not easy. So this book is packed with really good information. So
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So let me just share a little bit about the concept. Once I put it down on paper, it became very therapeutic for me because, again, my life, I've been in banking 40 years, and my life has been consumed with that. I have a true passion for banking. But along the way, I learned a number of lessons. Both when I was growing up, I came from a very modest background and did not necessarily realize what I didn't have, but I knew I really wanted to do something that made me make a difference in someone else's life. Mm-hmm. And so therefore I really worked in the banking industry, came to Florida in 83. My husband was transferred here, went to work for NCMB, and just grew tremendously because I never said no to an opportunity. My children were in 8 different schools the first 8 years of their life, which is quite a bit to move your family and your children, but it really helped me grow and it helped them grow too. And both my boys are now, of course, grown, and I just had the pleasure of visiting one of them. He's a diplomat over in South Africa, in Mozambique. And so to see their success makes me realize that I didn't necessarily do the wrong things by being a career-oriented mom. And a lot of times people worry about that. And they also worry about, well, I might not have the same qualifications as that person sitting next to me. You know what? That's okay. You can work and you can learn as you continue to grow. And that's what I tried to share with people in my book, some of the obstacles that I had and some of the really highlights in my life. And 2 highlights being, one was I took a company public with a whole team. It wasn't me by myself by any means. And that was really exciting, but also working for one of the USA's largest banks in the United States. And we did a number of things. I did 21 transitions throughout my career, and that's been a lot of fun, turning banks around, and then most recently becoming the chair-elect of the Florida Bankers Association, only the 3rd woman in 130 years. So I'm really proud of that too, Brandon.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
awesome. That's awesome, Rita. If you just joined us, Rita Lowman, she's an author, and she's also the current Pilot Bank Chief Operating Officer as well. And her book, From the Farm to the Boardroom, Leadership Lessons. And, yeah, great story there. And, plowing her way, through the banking industry. I love that. And, as a career mom, I think that's something to speak to right now is a follow-up question is that, obviously personal development, kind of came to mind when you talked about that. But, when you're a single mom or single dad even, and you're out there and, you're focused on your career, but at the same time, you kind of, have a little bit of guilt feel in the back of your mind. You're like, oh, I what could I be doing more for my children? Why don't you speak to that point a little bit? Because I think a lot of that's going to resonate with our listeners right now.
Well, I was very fortunate because, again, I've been married for over 45 years, but my husband and I both had careers. For 7 years of our life, we lived in separate cities, and because we both were growing. And one of the things that I learned early on is that, yes, you may have to miss some of the things your children are doing, but do not miss those major events. And I still believe in that today, and I share with my associates, family comes first. Yes, what you do at the bank's very important, but I want you to have that quality family time, and I do believe in that. Do I believe that during my career, my children they made sacrifices for their mom? Yeah, sometimes they did. We were doing a transition, and I had the kids with me, and we would actually convert a bank over the weekend, and they were doing things to help. But you know what? That built character.
Sure.
And I'm really pleased that we had that opportunity to do it together, and they were able to see what hard work ethics has and what it develops for you and your character and your life.
Yeah, that's right. Adversity is the best university. And in many cases, I don't believe it's aptitude. I think it's attitude.
Absolutely.
It's the attitude that's going to lead you down that path.
I agree. And, we talk about the word assertive and aggressive. And I'm an assertive woman. I know that. I'm not aggressive. I don't like that tone. I'm not a boss. I'm a manager and a leader. And I think that's very important. And what I love sharing with people is the fact that it's okay to be assertive. It's okay to be out in front and ask for that opportunity. But also, you need to know what you've learned from when you haven't been as successful as you would like to have been in something. Sure. And how can you turn that around? I know that in the Florida Bankers Association, the first time that I wanted to run for chair, I did not make it. But you know what? I didn't let that stop me. I knew I wanted to be able to have that and give something back to the Florida bankers. And that's what we do. We go to D.C. Once a month and walk the halls and really help in the legislative component of banking in Florida and throughout the United States. So you keep that passion and you keep growing with that passion.
Yeah, that's great, Rita. It's, there's so many things, when you think about the previous comments as well is personal development. Personal development is so key. We talk about this a lot on the show. And I like to, I enjoy personal development, first of all, especially these days. It's so easy. Growing up in school, I look back, I was somewhat of a slower reader, I think, because my mind was wandering into football and girls or whatever it was, right? So, now you plug in an earphone, you go for a jog, you work out in the gym, you do what Tony Robbins calls no extra time, net time, and you're able to enjoy these great audiobooks that people put together, these awesome, ideas and innovative business strategies and life strategies as well. 4-hour work week is an awesome example of how to utilize geographic arbitrage and live a millionaire's life, all these different ideas. But personal development I look at as a race.
Absolutely. And one of the things you just mentioned, work week, I've had managers that have said, let's put in more hours and more hours. And what does that do for you? What you need to do is be able to be very productive in the time that you're there. And what I have found is that if you end up putting aside all of the non-important things and you really focus on what needs to be done, you're going to be productive and you're going to be able to take that next step and still make it to that 7:00 game for your child. Yeah. And I always share with people, look at what you have in front of you and then make a list. I'm still from old school. I do make a list so that I can make sure I can accomplish what I need to. And if it's not accomplished, I don't forget it.
Well, that's the best school. I think that's the best school. We're coming up on a break here, but yeah, it's kind of what a lot of the sales gurus talk about as the vital few. You determine what you're great at. What are your top 3 functions that you need to focus on and eliminate the rest? And it's what Warren Buffett attributes his success to. Bill Gates, they say, hey, listen, I learned how to say no more than I say yes now. So you focus on what you're great at, and it's what they call the vital few. So yeah, great point. And, I love the excitement and the energy. And so from the farm to the boardroom, leadership lessons, author Rita Lowman, and also back in studio here as well, Tara Richter.
Have you always wanted to write a book? Do you have a manuscript that's been rejected time and time again by a traditional publishing house? Then you're in luck. Richter Publishing will make your dreams of becoming a published author a reality. Contact us today for your free 30-minute phone consultation. Go to www.richterpublishing.com. That's RICHTER publishing.com. and click on the Contact Us tab to schedule your session.
Here in studio and live from iHeart Radio, beautiful South Tampa, Florida. So let's go ahead back over here to Tara Richter, Richter Publishing. What else are you seeing out there?
Well, one thing is, we came out with our magazine, so we still have copies of our magazine available, which we have Kevin Harrington on the front of it, and we have a 2-page spread about him on the inside, and we also, of course, have Rita's book in here with her article. So we still have copies of this available. You can get them on my website. They're only $5 for all this awesome information at richterpublishing.com.
Cool.
And we actually have some discounts on books. So I just blasted out an email if you're on our newsletter list this morning, because we now have 40-some books published. I think you were number 40. So
nice.
Hey, that's neat. We need to do something on that.
40 years
Yes, exactly.
in banking, 40th book for Richter Publishing.
Nice.
But so what we did is we did these packages where we grouped together books for, Christmas specials where there's discounts. But for, the picky person, if you don't know who to buy their Christmas present for, we have genres to fit everyone.
Yeah.
We have 4 books for the fitness health guru about IV wellness, about health, nutrition, working out, all that kind of stuff. We have a book pack for the single person in your life, which consists of 3 of my books in the Dating Jungle series, and another one called Chasing Rainbows. We have the Entrepreneurial Pack, which includes your book, Rita's book, since it just came out, the Shark Tank book, and John McKee's book, That Happens to the Meeting set. So if you go to richterpublishing.com you can get those in time for Christmas.
Perfect. Awesome. Great idea. So, hey, stay with us. Don't touch that dial. More from our expert contributors. We're going to do a wrap. We're going to go into our lightning round as well when we come back. More consumer tips and knowledge for you to help you win in any marketplace. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com. Live from iHeart. Let's go ahead and bring Tara Richter back into the conversation. So, what else are you seeing? I know you got some events coming up too, right?
Well, we have Rita's book signing event coming up on December 17th. It's going to be at Three Birds Tavern, which is in St. Pete. That's downtown St. Pete, right?
Well, it's right off of downtown at 1492 4th Street North.
Okay. And it's going to be on a Saturday from 3:30 to 5 p.m. So anyone who's here not doing anything, stop on by, grab a copy of Rita's book because they're going fast already. Just got 50 people RSVP'd.
We have over 50 RSVP'd, and it's going to be a fun afternoon. We'll have some refreshments, photography, so you can capture the afternoon. So we really are excited. We thank Robin King for hosting this for us, who is the owner of Three Birds Tavern.
Yeah, it should be a really fun time. So, and I'll be there. I'll bring some copies of my magazines if anyone wants to grab one.
Very cool. Yeah. I love that. I love the magazine idea because it's it's portable content. People like to have that. It's updated when quarterly. You updating that?
I'm not sure yet. Right now it's going to be actually right before each gala, which is yearly.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what we're doing right now because obviously with all these authors getting all these books pulled together.
Yeah, right.
I'll need more staff just to work on the magazine if I do that quarterly.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. It's a way that you can highlight your authors. And it's when you have Kevin Harrington, a guy like that on the cover, we still got to get him on the show.
I know. He's well, we're gonna actually next week I'm gonna have an author on who is doing a new business with him that we're gonna discuss that I'm part of. So little teaser there.
Awesome. To be named later.
Yes, to be continued.
But yeah. So Rita, parting words of advice or lessons learned. What do you want to leave our listeners with?
Absolutely. You talk about words, Brandon, and I love one of my favorites, cause, and it's because there's a meaning there. The C is for commitment, and you need to be committed to yourself and to your family and your work as you go through life. And the A is for attitude. Love to get up and have that positive attitude every morning. The U is for understanding, and you need to understand what you're expecting of yourself, what your associates are expecting in your business. The S is for self-image. You need to look in the mirror and like who's looking back at you.
Right.
And the E is my very favorite word, and that's enthusiasm. The IASM is I am sold on myself. And I've always believed that if you're sold on yourself, then the world's going to be there with you and they're going to support you. So let's all have a cause to be the best that we can be every day.
Yeah, that's right. And understand this too. Like, if you're self-conscious about something, the chances are other people are too. So
Correct.
the person that you're scared to approach in business, or the person that you want to ask on a date, whatever it might be, they're in the same position in many cases. So, developing that self-image, that's a big one too. I mean, I heard stories, read in one of the books recently. It was a plastic surgeon, I believe, out in California. He talked about how some of his patients, even after they did the corrective surgery or whatever that might have been to improve, the clients came back to him with they just didn't see it. And I think a lot of it is just, it's a testament to the power of the mind and the subconscious mind.
Right. And believing in yourself is so important. And knowing that others around you are supporting you. I think that support for your colleagues, your family, your friends, that's going to make all of you a better person and more successful as you move forward in life.
Yeah, absolutely. Developing that peer group, the people that are going to support you and encourage you. And so a lot of times you see people that go to the gym that work out together, workout partner. They're going to make sure you're getting that extra rep in. They're going to give you a hard time if you call in on Friday to go. You're going to skip a workout on Friday or whatever it might be. So developing that core group, and also being somewhat firm when it comes to that peer group that's going to be somewhat of a naysayer, because we have
Right.
those friends, we have those people that they want to pretend to be your friend to your face, but they see your success and then the inside is burning them because it's making them realize what they could have been if they would have applied what you've done.
Correct. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Tara, what else are you seeing out there? What's happening? We're winding down the year. We're
I
going
know.
into goal-setting season.
Everyone is scrambling to get their books done. That's what I'm seeing. I am slammed. I
Yeah.
got so many appointments back to back.
Cool.
So I have to go to the office right now after this and go set up some more appointments and interview some interns. So, I mean, honestly, the book publishing industry has been around for eons, but it's not going away anytime soon. I just spoke with a client who just wanted to do an ebook, and I'm like, absolutely not. We always do ebooks and paperback.
Yeah.
So you got to have this with you. In order to do book signings, Rita wouldn't be able to do a book signing if she only had an ebook. You can't sign a Kindle.
You might as well.
You know
might
what's
as well do
so
it.
interesting is that Tara makes it really easy.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, you have to sit there and you have to think through and be able to get it on paper, but the guidance really is there for you through that whole process. And yes, it did take me 8 months. I know that was a little long, but again, I was going through some other things in life too. However, I really appreciate having that support as you go through that process.
Yeah, thank you. And that's the thing is that, with someone like Rita who's so busy, I mean, 8 months, it's like, oh, geez, it's so long. But in traditional publishing, that would have taken like 3 or 4 years.
Right.
So it's still fast. So don't, knock yourself for that. 8 months to get a book out, 6 months.
It's a huge accomplishment.
It is.
Less than 3% of the world actually writes down goals.
Yeah.
And what's the percentage of people that actually publish a book? Less than 1%?
I mean, I have clients I've been chasing for 3 years. I'm like, come on, when are we going to start?
Yeah.
They're like, And I see them on Facebook posting all these goals and this and that. And I just want to comment, so what about the book? 3 years later, come on, let's go.
Do you take that one into an instant message?
Not like publicly, but I will be like, hey, come on, let's follow up. And that's kind of the thing I do with people. As soon as they contact me and they say they want to do it, even if they haven't signed yet, I'm kind of that little kind of push, every month I'll send an email. How's it going? How's your writing? When do you want to start? And I kind of constantly, not really nag. I don't want to say nag.
Right.
Well, hey, great show.
Kinda
I want to
push them along.
I want to thank Tara Richter, Richter Publishing, for coming in studio. I want to thank Rita Lowman, Pilot Bank's Chief Operating Officer, easy for me to say, author, as well as our expert contributors, William Crowley, calling in as well on the phones. And please go out there, consider committing a random act of kindness. And tune into the Consumer Quarterback Show every Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Catch our show on Sunday mornings, 7 a.m. on 102.5 The Bone. And please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. We'll see you next time.